Ah, waifus, mankind's greatest invention since sliced bread. Created in 1345 by Emperor Takeshi Hajishirazu no Yaro, the concept of waifu is one that brought unity and peace to Japan, then a land of warring feudal lords that evolved into an archipelago of peace and perpetual post-nut clarity. Now, waifus are a huge part of Japanese culture and politics, being responsible for keeping the country's economy afloat more so than anything else. Sure, you might think that only gooners with no life outside of Reddit are obsessed with waifus, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. Celebrities and historical figures always had their animated cuties right next to them in moments of need and glory. John Wayne, Charles Bronson, Andy Warhol, Divine, Pele, Andre the Giant, all of those personalities could be seen hand in hand with their favorite waifus on a daily basis, never afraid of being labeled weebs or some other slur spitting by the prejudice against 2D women. Today, I'm gonna spend the next 7 hours explaining to you who are my favorite waifus and why, starting with yes, you there, you, the kid who raised his hand, yes, the ugly one. The one whose face looks like a fire put out with a screwdriver. What is that? What? You don't know what a waifu is? What kind of sickening, demonic, asinine class of students am I teaching for, you vitriolic, fetid, putrid mother... Okay, I'm calmer now. Guess I can't talk to you about my favorite waifus if you don't even know what that is. Ugh, fine. I think it falls upon me the inglorious job of educating the unwashed masses. Waifu is the Japanese pronunciation of the word wife. For the millennials and zoomers incapable of finding dates, a wife is the woman you get married to. Marriage is when two people, through dating and spending time together, fall in love and choose to become one under God and the law. It means to start a family. Love is what you never received in life, because you don't have a family. Okay, on simpler terms, a waifu is a fictional crush. You know when you have a crush for a celebrity, like Chris Hemsworth, Henry Cavill, Sydney Sweeney, Henry Cavill, Tom Holland, Henry Cavill, Chris Evans, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, or Henry Cavill. It's exactly like that, only you fall for a cartoon, anime, or video game character. Now, we all had our celebrity crushes growing up. Mine was Phoebe Cates. When I first saw her on Gremlins, I was stunned by how beautiful she was. With such a sweet smile, lovely expressive eyes, I wanted to marry her and bring her breakfast in bed forever, no matter how many of her holiday traumas I had to endure for that.
Something terrible happened to me one year on Lincoln's birthday.
Same thing happens with someone who has a waifu. Dude gets home from work, devastated because his boss pile-drives him for some mistake someone else made. He's tired, broken, hopeless,
defeated.
He just wants to watch something while drinking a can of Monster before crying himself to sleep. Then he turns his 14-inch TV screen or his 32-inch cell phone and decides to watch an anime or whatever. Then there she is, the cutest girl ever, prancing around to some energetic J-pop. She's funny, smart, cute, and before the dude even realizes it, he's absolutely smitten by her, thinking of her on every waking moment, adorning his computer screen with a wallpaper made in her image, carrying a picture of her in his cell phone, usually as the starting screen. He buys merchandise, figurines, anything he can find that has her face printed on it. She becomes his whole life until the next anime season starts and he replaces her with a new waifu. And ladies, wipe that smirk out of your faces. I am well aware of your husbandos too. Oh yeah, I see you trying to hide behind your Todoroki Dakimakura. You can't hide from me. I know how you thirst for every male student of My Hero Academy. I know. So yeah, boys and girls can have fictional crushes. Now, this may sound pathetic, but in all seriousness, I don't see it as being any different from falling in love with a real-life celebrity. Sure, there will always be one smartass ready to say that at least the celebrity is a real person. But that person is so far away from your reality that she might as well be a cartoon. Now tell me, how many celebrities have you met on a daily basis while going for groceries, or at the gas station, or when perusing a glory hole on the bathroom of said gas station? I guarantee you that it was not Jason Momoa on the other side of that stall. Now, you must be thinking, which would be a miracle considering you are watching my stupid channel, am I here to defend the love for waifus or chastise it?
A little from column A, a little from column B.
So first, let's start with me explaining why the hell someone would fall in love with a fictional character. For starters, cartoons are not as fictional as one may think. When a writer creates a character, he draws inspiration from his life, from the people he knows, from experiences he had, romances, friendships, fights, conflicts, all that good stuff that makes us humans. The characters he or she then puts on paper are many times an amalgam of characteristics or sometimes complete people only translated into a fictional medium with their qualities and flaws exaggerated or subdued as necessary. Hey, you don't have to believe me. Here is an expert who studied the subject for his entire life. What? No, that is not Morpheus from the Matrix if he was a crusty white man. No, that's Edgar Morin, a French philosopher and anthropologist and one of the greatest experts in media and communication in the 20th century. Wait a second. What? Let me check here. Okay, this will take a minute. Okay. He's still alive? What the hell, man? He was old when I was in college, and that was 2 decades ago. Does he eat souls? Anyways. Morin debated the matter of authors and their creations and the process behind them. Now, I'll quote from his book, L'Esprit du Temps. I'm sorry to the French if I butchered that. I probably did. I really am sorry. Now, I'll be paraphrasing here because I only found the book in Portuguese and French, so anyone who is more knowledgeable in the subject, feel free to correct me. Morin said, "The novelist projects himself into his heroes like a voodoo spirit that inhabits his characters and conversely writes under their dictation, like a medium possessed by the spirits, the characters he has invoked." Not only that, he also said, "This imaginary universe comes to life for the reader and he is in turn possessed in a medium, that is, if he projects himself and identifies with the characters in the situation, if he lives in them and if they live in him." In lamer terms, that means an author puts a lot of himself into his characters. His experiences, memories, the people he knows, everything he went through in life becomes the foundation for what he wants to put into paper. Matt Groening was inspired by his own family when creating The Simpsons, naming the characters Sons Bart after his own parents and siblings. Another example is Professor Severus Snape from the only book series millennials and early Zoomers ever read, Harry Potter. It's common knowledge that J.K. Rowling based the character from his sour disposition to his oily mop of hair on her chemistry teacher from school, a fella she described as being no less than terrifying. So, when someone falls in love with a cartoon, anime, or video game character, that person is falling for the characteristics that said character exhibits. Let's take a classic example as an example. Raven from the Teen Titans. Yeah, you gooning millennials. I love her too. So, what's special about Raven? Let's start with the obvious. She's hot. She has an hourglass figure, an irresistible goth aesthetic, a cute haircut, and an abrasive demeanor that just screams daddy issues and is like honey for all the guys out there with mommy issues. But if we go a little deeper, we see how truly fragile Raven is, using a tough facade to hide how scared she is to lose control over her powers, for it would mean the literal end of the world. Thanks to that, she has low self-esteem, is always isolated, and sees herself always one step away from ending up completely alone. It's a character that can set a guy's protective instincts into high gear, the same way a real girl just like that would. Same goes for people who love Harley Quinn. The original one, the tragic one, from the Batman animated series, that is. A girl manipulated into an abusive relationship and broken by her partner who just uses her as he sees fit? Come on. I know a lot of you guys just wanted to cuddle her, kiss her and tell her she was great and perfect and deserved so much better than the Joker after watching Mad Love. Or reading it. I don't care which one. I hate modern Harley Quinn, by the way. Her DC's version of Deadpool with boobs and a girl boss attitude persona was one of the worst character developments ever put into comics. Her animated show sucks too. Shame, because I really like the character design and animation there, but the stories are crap. Anyways, the same goes for any other character, be it male or female. Wolverine's gruff exterior with a wounded interior might have, and it actually does have, the same effect on women. A happy, optimistic, and full of energy girl like Starfire might be the unsung love of some kid who has the same uppity disposition, while Batman's bank account might be really enticing for a girl watching... that was terrible. Editor, please cut that one out. Raven, the classic Harley Quinn, and so many other characters came from real places. I'm pretty sure that the writers behind Teen Titans derived from their own teen experiences, the feelings of isolation and angst one has during those formative years, and used them when writing Raven. It's easy for someone to identify with such emotions and end up falling for such a character.
Oh, but isn't that the same with movie characters? It would actually make more sense to fall for a movie character than for a cartoon, since the movie character is performed by a real person.
No, not really. Movies are, more often than not, vehicles for their stars, for the celebrities in them. Like I said at the start of the video, celebrities are put in such pedestal in our societies that they might as well be fictional characters. They are so distant from normal human life that they might as well not exist. Nevertheless, the actor lends his star power to the movie so people go watch it, and on the other hand, the movie's success keeps the star in the audience's good graces. Tell me, how many of Zoe Saldana's characters' names do you know, excluding Gamora? What about Tom Cruise's, excluding the guy from Mission Improbable? How many characters from cinema do you refer by their name instead of the actor's name? Now, it's a little bit different for live-action TV shows that might last for years, like Breaking Bad and The Sopranos, but not by much. We get to spend a lot of time with the characters in such shows and know them, but at the same time, the cult of personality perpetuated by Hollywood and the media never lets us forget that these are actors playing a part. We can't disassociate James Gandolfini from Tony Soprano nor Bryan Cranston from Oppenheimer, or whatever his name was. I never watched Breaking Bad. Fight me about it! So, a character like Raven is just that. Raven. She is what her writers intended her to be. Nothing more, nothing less, with no risk of being erased by the gravitas of her actor. Also, It is much easier to identify with a cartoon or anime character than with someone portrayed by an actor made of flesh and blood. Or leather, in the case of Danny Trejo. Don't believe me again? Okay, let's listen to another expert, Scott McCloud, cartoonist and author of the Eisner Award-winning book Understanding Comics: The Invisible Art. In his book, McCloud says, "When we abstract an image through cartooning, we're not so much eliminating details as we are focusing on specific details. By stripping down an image to its essential meaning, an artist can amplify that meaning in a way that realistic art can't. The ability of cartoons to focus our attention on an idea is, I think, an important part of their special power, both in comics and in drawing generally. It's easy for humans to see themselves in a drawing. One of the reasons that The Simpsons was such a hit during its debut is because anyone could see themselves or their families into the main cast. Every family has a Homer, a Bart, a Marge, a Lisa. The characters aren't even white, they are yellow. They can't even be classified as humans. Anyone can relate to them. That is an integral part of why one could fall in love with an animated character. Let's give Raven a rest and use another character as an example. Marin Tagawa. Yeah, I know. She's unbelievably hot and undressed herself in front of her bae on the first episode of My Dress Up Darling, but let's ignore that for a moment and analyze her on a deeper level. She's cute, fun, a bit naive, sweet, and a bona fide nerd who cosplays and obsesses about the characters she loves from fiction. To top it all off, she's very flirty with the boy she likes, taking the initiative in any romantic advances that might happen between them. She's pretty much the dream girl of any lonely guy who's a fan of anime, a dude who probably faced rejection more times than he can count, lost all nerve to take risks with girls, and dreams of one who will make the first step towards a relationship. A girl who only wants companionship and will enjoy the same things as him instead of chastising him for that. It might sound like I'm full of poop, but Marin being hot is completely immaterial here. It's just a case of appearances can be deceiving. When looking at her, one can think she's just a bimbo, some obnoxious mean girl who bullies anyone who doesn't idolize her. Her looks certainly fill the bill, only for the audience to have those expectations shattered when they find out she's so sweet one can get diabetes type C from watching her show. So I believe that there is nothing wrong with falling in love with a fictional character. I see it as a fun exercise to find out what attracts you on the opposite or same gender. Do you like a sweet girl like Marin Tagawa, or one with a personality like sandpaper, like Raven? Girls, would you rather be with a gruff and tough dude like Wolverine, or with a half-vampire ridden with daddy issues like Alucard? In the end, it's just a fun mental exercise we can do to find out more about ourselves. Until it isn't! Like everything, this kind of fictional crush needs to be taken in moderation, otherwise, it can be very bad for one's emotional development. The reason is, while fictional characters are based in reality, they are also idealized. Let me get a new example to illustrate this. I'll take Power from Chainsaw Man. Yeah, I know. People lust after Makima more than any other girl from that show. Look, if Makima is your waifu, I have nothing to say. Find a priest and look for forgiveness. So, Power. She's cute, she's funny, she's dumb like a bag of rocks, but in a charming way. She's flat as a board, and as the internet taught me, flat is justice. What is there not to like? Well, a lot, actually. Her lack of hygiene, for example. She doesn't shower and probably leaves every room she is in stinking like PO and rotten fish. She doesn't flush after pooping, and I am pretty sure she doesn't wipe. She also throws tantrums, is picky about food, and like I mentioned before, is dumb. which can be charming in small doses, but not when she dumps gallons and gallons of her stupidity anywhere she goes. Now, the anime goes out of its way to show all of these flaws as endearing. And they are. They are part of what makes Power a fun character. At the same time, can you imagine yourself living with someone like that? It doesn't even have to be a girl with all of Power's flaws. Just imagine one that doesn't bathe and throws tantrums every time she finds carrots in the food. When you get used to falling for fictional and idealized girls, you might end up looking for that idealization in real life. You will never find it, of course, because people are imperfect, and their flaws are never as adorable as the fictionalized vixens we see on TV shows and video games. It's okay to have a crush on Marin Tagawa, if that helps you figure out that a girl who enjoys the same hobbies as you is the ideal match for you. But if you decide to stay single until you find a perfect carbon copy of Marin, from her looks to her psyche, that's when things start getting out of hand. It might be indicative of a fear of real relations, hence why you attach yourself to idealized people. If that happens, look for professional help. It will be the best thing for you, trust me on this. In conclusion, love your waifus, in moderation, of course. And before anyone asks, no, this has nothing to do with VTubers. VTubers are an entire different beast called parasocial relationship that we are not going to touch today. So, what do you guys think? Do you have any fictional crushes? Any cartoon, anime, or video game gals or guys that tickle your fancy? Let me know in the comments. And that's the end of the video. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings. If you didn't, I thank you for watching it to the end and giving me a chance anyway. It means the world to me. So, that's it for today. I'll see you guys on the next video, and until then, take care of yourselves and everyone you love. Cheers!